Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. We have an Iron Man match to cover today. Jeff, how the hell are you doing?
Iron Women. Exciting. Absolutely. I'm feeling pretty good.
They're calling it Iron Man. At some point, did they change it to Iron Woman?
They had to. And we're looking at the graphic as we got it pulled up. I will take a look at it. I would hope that they did because it would make sense.
But yeah.
At least how they're calling it, you would think, maybe it'd being the first time, but we'll talk about that. Yeah, but I'm feeling good, though. Like I said, we're in the, just a lot happening in the wrestling world right now. We're kind of coming off of Fastlane at this point. We had the New Japan AEW show. We got a little bit of some downtime here through October before we kind of get into, I guess we're on the road to Survivor Series at this point, which should be pretty interesting and how they're going to do that. And so just kind of exciting things happen. I'm feeling good, the chill of the October air, but good things happening.
Good, man. Well, we have a longer match to cover. So should we jump right into it?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. Let's get to the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
Man, you've heard me say this before, but this is like the heyday of NXT. I just look at some of these cards and some of the talent on them, and I just remember these shows just 2 hours, quick hitting. They're on the network, so they're free. A lot of new talent. I just love these shows. This was a Full Sail show. It's October 7th, 2015. About 400 in attendance. We're right kind of in that prime of NXT in a lot of ways. Just look at this show, man. We start out with Finn Balor and Samoa Joe in the semifinals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, defeating the Mechanics of Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson.
Long time ago. Weird. I forgot that they were the Mechanics, but yeah.
I'm now forgetting their WWE tag team name.
The Revival.
Revival. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I now it's been so long. Now I'm like FTR. Okay. Revival. The other semifinal match was Baron Corbin and Rhino defeating Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. Asuka's going to defeat Dana Brooke by submission in 5 minutes. Apollo Crews is going to defeat Tyler Breeze in 9 minutes. The finals of that tag team tournament was Finn and Samoa Joe defeating Corbin and Rhino. And then the main event, the reason we're here, Iron Man match, 30 minutes, Bayley and Sasha. I know they had some great matches leading up to this, but how did we get to this blow-off match of this just incredible feud?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like Tom was saying, this match taking place October 7th, 2015, but we're going to go all the way back to February, actually earlier this year. You had Banks winning the NXT Women's Championship. She beat Charlotte. That was, of course, the fatal four-way. Becky, Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha taking that one. So retaining the championship against Charlotte, Alexa, Becky, just really, she had the belt for this whole time. And so, defending it against any and all comers at this point. And I want to remind everybody too, this was this was one of the earlier NXT shows as well too. We think of NXT as, first it was truly developmental, and then we had the show like we have now, and then the takeovers, and then what we know of it as of today. This was very early in what was happening. And so we said Asuka was on the card when this one, beating Dana Brooke. This was before Asuka's title reign. And so this was when you really did have the 4 horsewomen going at it, and really were the focus of all of these shows and stuff like that. So you get to August, she beats Charlotte. Bayley actually beat Becky Lynch to become the #1 contender for the championship. So now we're into the summer. You had Takeover Brooklyn late August. You had Banks losing the championship to Bayley. It was actually Bayley's first time winning the belt at that point, too, ending Banks's run at 192 days at that point. It was the match of the year at the NXT Year-End Awards. It was really good, even over this match. But everything was, all this was great. But this was when they were putting on stuff that people really started focusing on the women's wrestling at this point. This was before the women's revolution. This was, they were just going out there and say, and we've seen the interviews we've heard over the years, they're just going to go out there and put on good matches. People can deal with it. And that's exactly what they did. And so, but this was William Regal, actually, when he was still the general manager, but, a long time ago, doing a great job at it with too. We had Bayley. He scheduled a match for Bayley to defend her title against Sasha Banks in this 30-minute Iron Woman man match. It got chance at the time, Iron Woman. It was just September, and so it was really the month before. While these guys had feuded a lot and they had a lot of different matches, this was the first time that we were getting this match. And so it was the first time in NXT history also, and it was important at this, that the women were the main event of a takeover special. And so you figure there was, at least probably 8 to 10 kind of takeover shows prior to this one. Well, this was the first time that the women were going to be front and center. They will occasionally show, we'll call it out as well too. You have Lita, Charlotte, Becky, and Stephanie are all in the front row. And so that's where we get into this match where, like Tom and I said, we've got the counter in the bottom left corner of Bayley and Sasha on how many pinfalls, the clock saying Iron Man, which is what Tom and I talked about, with 30 minutes, and both standing in the ring getting ready to go.
All right, man, I'm pumped to cover this one. It's season 2, episode 4, NXT Takeover, season 2, episode 4. We are at the 1 hour and 37-minute mark. And we're starting our main event at the 1 hour and 37-minute mark, which I like, man. I'm fine with 3. 3.5 is a long time, but if it's entertaining, okay. But, man, I love these 2-hour pay-per-views. I'm ready. Yep. I'm ready if you're ready.
Let's do it.
All right. It's time for the payoff.
Ho! It's time for the payoff.
Join us on social media during this matchup. Use the hashtag IronManMatch.
Couple interesting things to note right here.
All right, here we go.
Color scheme of her
the main event,
reflective of the Iron Man franchise, which she thought would be appropriate for this match. And
you like Bayley better as a babyface or a heel?
So now that I know how good she is as a heel, I like her as a heel. So this was, yes, as we all remember, the hugger Bayley. At this point, she was definitely all face. I mean, that's what she was during this time. So for me, I got to go with the heel. I'm glad they did the turn. I do think Sasha should always be a heel as well too. And so, but at this point, not quite the dynamic that we have.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Better heel for sure. So this is the first women's match to headline a major event.
Mm-hmm. For NXT. Yep.
No. So
you're talking in general. Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, women had never headlined a PLE before, a pay-per-view.
Okay. Yep.
So, this being in that category of pay-per-views, this is the first time it was ever the main event. Trish and Lita had main evented Raw.
Yep.
Never a pay-per-view. Okay. So I thought that was interesting. And then this is also going to be the longest women's match in WWE history at the time. So
interesting.
Pretty historic.
I'll ask you just the kind of loaded questions, which we probably know the answer. Mercedes Sasha will be back. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, at the time we're recording this, she's not back, but it's been teased. And you got to make money. You're in the prime of your, career. So unless there's some incredible acting gig, which it doesn't seem like there is, you got to go wrestle. I mean, how do you turn down that kind of money? I mean, you have to.
But she's still hurt as of us recording, and I'm right there with you. I feel like she is going to one day epitomize she didn't need to leave to be a star, but like almost like a Cody, she's going to leave, and she has left. She's doing her own thing for a little bit, and she will come back a bigger star than when she left.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see her back in WWE, because I just think the women's division in WWE is so much better than, I mean, the AEW one, I know they're trying. I appreciate them trying. I don't fault AEW for it. I just think the reality is there's only so many women on the planet that can wrestle. More men get into professional wrestling than women. You know, I think it's easy to at times beat the WWE up over, why was there no women's division in 1996 or whatever, or why, were the women not featured in 2002 when they were in bra and panties? Well, the reality is that there weren't a lot of women clamoring to be professional wrestlers that, oh, by the way, could actually get in the ring and work. So you say, why were women's matches, only 3 to 5 minute filler? Look, in many cases, that's all that those women could do. I mean, you watch this 30-minute match, and we're 4 minutes into it. They haven't stopped moving. It's been excellent. I'm as interested in these women's matches as ever. I remember the first women's Royal Rumble. It was just like, man, are they going to be able to pull it off? And I don't know if you remember or not, the first women's Rumble was more entertaining than the men's Rumble that year.
Yep.
And it was just like, oh, okay. So I just, I think in AEW's case, I just don't know if they have the talent. You can't just say, okay, you're a woman, go out there and have a 15-minute match. It's really hard to have a 15-minute match. Goldberg never figured out how to do it. So it doesn't mean that you can just say, hey, the two women, go out and do it. So a lot of it is a talent issue. So at times where WWE didn't feature women or had short women's matches, they just didn't have the talent. And I mean, look, I respect the hell out of Maurice and Michelle McCool, but they weren't these two. I'll tell you that. So, yeah, it's just, it's interesting, but when you have the talent, so I'd love to see Sasha and WWE because they have better talent. Having Sasha Bayley, Sasha Charlotte, Sasha Ronda if Ronda ever comes back, Sasha Trish if Trish continues to wrestle. I mean, you just go at all the matches, and then you have Asuka, and some of this we've seen before, but you just have all these great marquee women's matches that can absolutely headline a pay-per-view or headline WrestleMania or headline a Raw. Not too long ago, the Trish Becky match, the feud wasn't great, had some issues, but the blow-off match, the steel cage match, 8 out of 10. I mean, it was a really, really good match. So, they can do so much, and women's War Game and women's Rumble. And so, I just want the best talent in the world to be in WWE. I have not seen a lot of her, but is it Tiffany, the one in NXT?
Yeah, she's great.
She's, hey, she'll be main eventing WrestleMania someday. And from what I can see, it looks like she's the real deal.
Yeah, like Bayley going for her finisher here. Nice little. Sasha had Bayley in the corner. Now you've got, or you flip it. Yeah, each of them had him in the corner, just kind of stare down. So really kind of cool stuff here. I think here's my problem. I think that we saw obviously Mercedes, Sasha. We keep saying it, but either way, what we're talking about. That we saw her at that the AEW All Out like pay-per-view weekends back to back and stuff like that. I think that she will spend some time in AEW, but I'm with you. When it comes to which is the better women's division, and I feel like every week when Tony Khan isn't firing CM Punk, he's in the news about women's wrestling not being good or something like that, or he's not focused enough on the women, whatever it might be. And so I think that's something to consider. But then also I'll kind of be a little negative on WWE here, like. What do you if she shows up let's just say at Royal Rumble, like, what do you do with her after that? I think to your point, we've seen a lot of the matches that, with the current roster. I also think that, the current women's roster is extremely strong for WWE. And so this is very much one of those, like, do they need her right now? I don't think so. And so, stay away for a little bit, because I think you do, like, I don't think any of us, well, it was too long, and Becky and Trish both said, like, their kind of feud recently was too long. It was great seeing Trish have a run again. At the same time, like, you've got some of these younger stars, like they're super high on, Tiffany. They're super high on, like, Zoe Stark was one of the names we've been seeing getting kicked around a lot here. Like, there is just a lot of names that are down there that coming up. Like, I feel like I always see, like, there's always kinds of clips of the women and what they're doing. And so, I think it will just be really interesting over the next year, really. Well, she'll be back. It's one of those, like, let her do some time. She was a Stardom champ. We know that, or is a Stardom champ. I forget exactly where she is as of today, but it's just one of those where they will find something for her to do. And I just hope it's, worthwhile. You think interesting using the ref now to kind of get you, she kind of gouged her eyes. Yeah.
It's a roll up, 1-0.
The referee's view was obstructed. Sasha was in the way. The referee couldn't see the thumb to the eye.
Okay, so 1-0.
1-0 Sasha. Yep, here we go.
Speaking of women's stars, I got two thoughts for you. First of all, I'd love to see Britt Baker in WWE. What do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely. She's been so quiet in AEW because they're doing so much with some of the other women right now. Like, I feel like she was such a great champ and riding the high, and now it's just kind of like, it's almost like mid-card to below mid-card. It's kind of weird. Yeah. I mean, she's not going anywhere as long as Adam Page is, or Adam Cole is in AEW, but still, like, it would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always healthy once in a while to put someone new. I mean, throw Cody into the scene, and gosh, we're a couple years into it, and we still have so many fresh matchups we just haven't seen. I mean, you have 3 to 5 years of stuff with Cody if you want to. I mean, really, he's only feuded with Rollins and Brock, right?
Yeah.
He had a match with Reigns. You're obviously going to go back to that at some point. You think about Cody and Drew, Cody and Cena,
LA Knight.
Yeah. I mean, there's just, there's no shortage of guys for Cody to work. Britt Baker, I think she'd be really cool. I mean, to see like a Britt Baker Charlotte dynamic, sign me up. The other name that, would certainly disrupt things, and I wish it wouldn't have abruptly ended, is Mandy Rose. Do you think that they work together again, or do you think, hey, why do I need to take bumps when, I don't know what the dynamics are, but I mean, she's got to be making a minimum of $1 million a year, not wrestling.
Yeah. So, just saving herself. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just wonder, I mean, you could plug her into the main roster and she could be, there you go.
Bayley to Belly. Yep. 1-1. Still got 19 minutes to go. Yep.
With the work you put into Mandy, I mean, I just feel like, you could throw her on the main roster tomorrow in the main event mix. And I'm not saying they will. I just think, if I'm WWE, I can't have someone posting stuff on OnlyFans on my roster. I just can't have it.
Yeah.
Pretty racy stuff. I mean, again, it's who cares, but that's an issue. And if I'm her, what are you going to offer me to make me shut that down? If I'm clearing $100,000 a month, why would I shut that down? Take the risk. I mean, your WWE is not going to pay her double that, So even if it's the same amount of money, why shut that down when you could run with that for another 5 years and never work again the rest of your life? So
you're right. I found it was comical to me because we all know, like, yeah, she's been doing that for a while. I would see no reason. I would see no reason for her to stop doing that because you're taking no bumps. You take a few photos here and there, like, that's kind of it. Like, she posts like her workouts and stuff like that on like Instagram. Like, okay, great. And then I found it almost comical, like how quickly the former Lacey Evans jumped onto like one of those sites as well too after she was officially gone. And the dichotomy is funny to me because you've got her like opening like her little restaurant or whatever it is, and then you've got like her OnlyFans or whatever it is, which I just find comical.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? Like, you and I aren't making that kind of money, so good for them to be able to go out there and do that stuff. And that's how. And I get it. Like, for a lot of wrestlers like that, they need that like kind of second income, even if they are wrestling like on the circuit. Like, and so, that's just kind of crazy too. So, but yeah, I personally, I don't think we will see Mandy back. Like, I would be, maybe at least not in 2024, like Rumble or something like that. I think it would be crazy if it did happen, but and great if it did, because she was great in the ring. Like, you and I, like, to this day, like I will always, like, when we had our day at the Performance Center, I'm still convinced that she had the biggest crush on you on the planet, and so she was all about you, and so like that is yeah, I don't see it happening. Yeah, I think there's enough the roster's deep enough where I don't think they would need it.
Agreed. And that's the, it's a good segue into the next thing I want to talk about, but that's the thing. It's like when business is down, hey, what's it going to take to get Goldberg back? What do we need to throw at so-and-so to get him back? I mean, right now, you sit there and you say, oh, is that the famous meme?
Yes.
The Bayley girl? That's from this match?
Yeah. Yes. Where she took her headband. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
Bayley has been counted out. Another decision for Sasha Banks. She goes up 2-1.
And Bayley can see the clock as her championship reign ticks away.
Izzy, that's
Sasha
what it was.
Banks.
What is wrong with her?
Sasha Banks running around with that headband on. Did you see Izzy?
Yeah, this is who you want as your champion. This is who you want representing the women's division.
There's the meme. Yeah.
I want someone
which Izzy, little update. She's actually a wrestler now.
She's been there.
Really?
She knows.
Yeah, she had followed in kind of Bayley's footsteps. She's actually got a look that looks like Bayley. Yeah. And this was, a little background. Izzy was always at ringside, huge Bayley fan, all that stuff. And so Sasha took her headband that she had on as she was sitting ringside. And
how old is she, like 17 or 18 now?
Yeah, she's, I forget, but yeah. But she's been training like for a long time. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. And so she's a wrestler now.
Wow.
Yeah, her gear, I'm looking at it right now. Her gear is it looks just like Bayley's did. Yep.
Well, now I got to pull it up. Okay, so
Yep.
so it's
Izzy Moreno. Yep.
It's Izzy Mania on Instagram.
Yep.
40,000 followers, professional wrestler. Pretty close look to Bayley.
I'm not sure. I think she's 16 is what I'm seeing. 16 or 17.
No kidding.
But hey, good for her. Like, that was
great for her.
Yep.
Dude, that is, at some point she could work Sasha.
Oh yeah.
Dude, no kidding. Yeah, I'm just looking at her Instagram. And she's got a good look. She'll continue to probably, she's a little on the thinner side, but
super green. Yeah. But yeah,
up a little bit. I'll tell you something interesting, and the reason I said bulking up, the reason that's fresh in my mind, have you listened to the interview Cody did with Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
I saw a clip of it where he was talking about Dale Sr., but I have not watched the whole interview.
Okay, so go watch or listen to the interview. I'm probably 2/3 of the way through it. A buddy actually just sent it to me recently. It's really good. There's definitely some like new information and stuff I haven't heard before. It was a really, really good interview. So one of the things Cody said was, hey, when you're like struggling and you don't feel like you're being pushed well and stuff like that, the best thing you can do is get in like insanely good shape. You're a lot harder to ignore if you're in the best shape of your life.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good point. Like, so, hey, they're not going to use me. Okay, well, I can at least be jacked, and who knows, maybe, Vince or Bruce or someone sees me and goes, wow, like they're really okay. So 2-2 now.
That's what Bayley needed. Bayley needed a desperation move just like that to put herself.
Okay, Izzy's happy. So 2-2.
12 minutes left. 12 and a half minutes left. Yep.
Okay,
this match is flying by.
It really is. Yeah.
I'm glad that we've had some pins throughout it. Like we've talked before, like that we don't need like 6-7 pins. I don't think 0-0 was the way to go. Like I'm glad we're sitting at 2-2 right now after like 20 minutes, almost like 18 minutes. Like it's a good pace. And they have worked nonstop. There's been no rest holds. They are working.
So yeah, no, this is really good. I mean, fantastic match. 2-2, good movement here.
Bulk up, Cody.
Yes,
what you're talking. Yeah.
Okay, so, but I thought that was a great point. So it's like, if you're walking backstage and you're crazy, best shape of your life, harder to ignore. And I thought that was a great point. I think that's something that you can it's still a cosmetic business, and you can make up for a lot of shortcomings by just sticking out physically. And that can be, the Finn Balor 12 pack, it can be the Ultimate Warrior, where you're just like, what in the hell am I looking at? Right. Like, I mean, there's just different unique looks that, Charlotte, when she's on the more jacked side, it just sticks out. You just notice it. Shayna Baszler has a very unique look, right? Like, so anything you can do. And I think that's so important. And it's like, it's easy to be like, oh, well, you don't have to be like a bodybuilder to be a pro wrestler. Yeah, but let me tell you something. John Cena, overcame a lot of mediocrity as a in-ring performer by having that look, right? And having that package and being able to do those things from a strength standpoint. So you really do stick out.
I got a friend that she said the only man on the planet that could pull off a pair of jorts is John Cena. Like, but that's his look. I think I've sent it to you before, but my favorite is the our now longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, and his before and after photo of like even when he was doing developmental, and he was huge. He was a giant guy, like in terms of physique, and then now he is like jacked and cut. And so we've said it before, like that is the WWE system right there. Like you go into that and like when that's your focus, like dude is cut now, and like having some of the I think I'm glad more eyes, like I'm fine. Like he has brought back a lot of distinction to the Intercontinental title. He's having great matches. Like they're putting him with people like, yes, he should be wrestling a best of 14 with Chad Gable. Like they should be constantly having matches. Like it just looking great while he's doing it, and like legitimately terrifying on the mic. Like just really, really good.
That's an excellent example. I mean, that really proves the point.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was even before he came, like, but NXT signed him, like, and he, like, I would watch him come out at matches, and even when he was in NXT, he was bigger. But now, like, Jesus, like, I want to get on his workout plan. Like, it's incredible how good he looks. Yep. A big Gunther fan. I think it was time for him to break Honky Tonk's great, but I think it is nicer to have, I say, more current people hold the belt and those kind of records, because it does reset it. It is nice to me.
Oh, and it was perfect timing, perfect guy. I'd love for them to do something with Honky Tonk Man and just, have Gunther take a guitar, or give Honky Tonk a guitar shot to the head. I think it'd be great.
Or even, set something up where at least Honky Tonk gives a chair or a guitar shot to somebody. It doesn't have to be to Gunther, like maybe one of the other guys in Imperium or something. Like just, bring him back in for something like that. Or maybe there's bad blood there. Who knows? But at the same time, like whatever, like, add that. But I think longest reign. He's definitely added a lot to that title. And it's one of the few that I'm like, oh yeah, he has the title because they're not hot shotting it or it isn't some like Seth Rollins weird thing. Yeah.
So, one of the things we were talking about was just that, like, WWE is in a position right now where, like, they don't have to take a lot of risks. And so it brings me to the question of, do you see CM Punk wrestling for WWE?
Never.
You're in the never camp.
I'm in the never camp. Yeah, at least, boy, it's tough. I think as long as Triple H is there, it's a never. I feel like you and I've been sending a lot of clips back and forth, or like the notes and things like that. Like, people have seen it. Like, we know kind of what he is all about. I feel like he is the common denominator in a lot of these issues. You don't need him. Like, how many, like, he is not going to bring, and I, from the business sense, he is not going to bring enough additional eyes to the product and money to the product for me to justify it. I think that keep building the stars that you have. Even we just heard like LA Knight just signed a new deal. A bunch of people, Seth Rollins just signed a new deal. Like, all these different things happening. Like, you just don't need him. Like, he's not going to put like, oh yeah, he brought people to, what did you send me? Like 80 or 90,000 people turned the channel as soon as Tony fired him, or whatever it was, that Collision episode or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, it was something like 80 or 90,000 immediately switched. And remember, there were only like 400,000 at that point watching, or maybe less. So you're a quarter of the audience tuned out.
He also knew what he was going to do. Like, he had to do that. And I think, he had to make that decision. We got 6 minutes left on this one too. I don't see the need. Like, you don't need him. He's not bringing 1 million people every week back to the program. It's just not how it is. That's not how wrestling's built anymore. Maybe he moves some merch, but also I do find it funny. Like, yeah, let's bring him back just to be squashed by Brock or some shit. Like, I do enjoy those kind of memes that have been floating around. Like, yeah, you could main event as the third main event on the first night against, Undertaker again. Like, get fucked, It's just funny to me. But yeah. How about you? Do you think, is it going to happen? Are we going to see him again? I'm a hard no.
I think it's tough to know. I mean, I don't think there's a definitive yes or no. My crystal ball says they will dip their toe in the water of working together, and it'll come in one of two forms. One would be, there is a guy that CM Punk will work really well with and will give it a shot as a one-off. And that would either be a Kevin Owens or it would be a Roman Reigns with the orchestration of Paul Heyman. But, like, is there a one-off program where we can put him with somebody and know that they will play well together? The other scenario I could see is, hey, look, here's the deal. We're going to have you headline the Hall of Fame, and let's see how that goes. And if it goes well, then maybe there's a match at some point. That's what I think. I believe that they will work together. I think Punk needs it a lot. WWE doesn't need to work with Punk. Okay. Punk needs to work with WWE, and he needs to do that because I believe he has to restore his legacy in his own mind. I believe he cares about his legacy in professional wrestling.
Dad, I totally agree with you.
I think he looks like an asshole, and you can say, okay, well, there's other places to go work. Okay, there isn't.
I'm gonna go repair my career at Impact.
Yeah, I'm perceived as being an asshole that nobody likes and nobody wants to work with. So let me go to work in the Impact Zone. That's not going to happen. New Japan, I mean, it's just like, if to me, it's like there's only one company, and AEW is fine. AEW is a perfectly reasonable place to go to restore your legacy. Didn't work out. Obviously.
And you shit all over it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he has to go with his tail tucked between his legs to Triple H and say, look, I'm a 45-year-old man, whatever he is, and I don't want my career to end this way. I don't want my legacy to end this way. You have my word that I'll be on my best behavior. Can I just have an opportunity? And I don't even give a shit what you pay me. I just want an opportunity to right some wrongs here.
I think you said it perfect. WWE doesn't need Punk, but Punk needs WWE. I think you're dead on accurate with that. Yep.
All right, let's check in here.
So we had a Bayley to belly off the top rope, which they went so far with it, and kind of Sasha rolled over that she had her leg on the rope, and so while Bayley got the 3 count, it didn't count, and so we got 2.5 minutes left here. Both, I mean, they still look really good. Like, they don't look that gassed. Like, they are, I'm sure, but like also like, and I think it looks like everybody's on their feet at this point. You got up on the top rope, Bayley and Sasha. Whoa, what is she doing here? She's like on Bayley's or Sasha's shoulders. Oh, like a reverse Hurricane Rana that somehow Sasha landed on her feet. That was weird. And then Sasha hitting a Bayley to belly. Nope, there's the kick out. Everybody is on their feet. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
She's got her locked in the bank statement.
I saw a list that had their August match, the one before this, is the best women's match in NXT history. This was ranked number 2. Asuka Ember 3. 4-way between Becky, Bayley, Charlotte, and Sasha was 4.
Quite the year, 2015. Quite the year for NXT women's wrestling. Yeah. So she's been about 30 seconds now. She's had Bayley locked in the bank statement, kind of grinding back on her, like kind of pulling her back, and she's trying to make her way to the ropes. I do appreciate too. I'll kind of end with this a little bit. She got it locked in again after still got a minute left here, 2-2. I will give credit where credit's due. Like, Bayley Mercedes has left. I think even, whenever she does come back, she has reinvented herself for the better. I'll give her that. Like, we still don't know. It's weird. We still don't fully know the circumstances of kind of why she left or anything. She still never spoken on that. Like, I'm sure it'll be like turned into a promo one day when she is back. But like, yeah, credit where credit's like, she's stayed relevant, which I think is important. Yep. So Bayley breaking out. We got 30 seconds here.
This is fantastic.
Yep. It's really good storytelling here, trying to get her to tap.
Man, that looks nasty.
Yep. Okay, so that was the bank statement. Sorry, she hit her with the bank statement, and now Bayley's got her kind of locked in with a submission hold with 13, 12, 11 seconds left. Yep. Sasha can't reach for their just pounding on. And there's a tap, yep, or at least a submission.
Wow.
As time expires, 3-2, Bayley.
What a match.
And Izzy sobbing, yep.
Dude, that was, close to flawless. What a match.
Yep.
What a match.
Can we get a little sound? What are they chanting?
The sound's not working.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It was working earlier. It is not working.
So both women in the ring. Banks just kind of dead, laying there. Yep. Everybody's cheering. Everybody's on their feet. Yep.
Yep. All right. Loved it. That was great.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
All right. What'd you think?
Boy, I've seen clips. It's been a long time since I've gone back and watched the full thing. This is when you have to go back and watch the full thing. It was really, really good, plain and simple. They're showing the other women ringside now. Yep. Yeah, I just exceeded my expectations in a lot of ways. Very, very good. How about you?
Yeah, loved it.
Yeah. So at this one, and so there a lot happening here. You got, of course, Izzy at ringside, Bayley celebrating. They showed Charlotte, Becky, Stephanie actually too, and Lita. We're all sitting there. A lot happening in this match. Like, the pinfalls were great. That's really fantastic. So, but after this one, and we'll kind of keep it playing in case something happens here. It was got to get it to my actual notes here. There we go. Okay, yeah. So of course, the first women's match to headline a major WWE like pay-per-view, premium live event, whatever you want to call it. It was the first time that in women's history that they had this stipulation. Like you said, it was the longest women's match in WWE history until the Banks match against Charlotte at Roadblock end of the line in December 2016, which was also a 30-minute Iron Man match, but it had sudden death on that one. So Bayley on this one, she fought everybody and anybody to kind of defend the title. So it was Alexa, Eva Marie, Nia Jax, Carmella. When she ended up, it was March 16th, 2016. Bayley and Asuka actually won a tag match, and they decided that Bayley would defend her title against Asuka at NXT Dallas Takeover on April 1st. That was, of course, debuting Shinsuke as well, too, all this different stuff. And so Bayley ended up losing the championship at Asuka. It would have been that April 1st, 2016 match against her. Ending her reign at 223 days. So taking a pause. You got everybody from backstage is out front now, or out on the ramp cheering on Bayley. Of course, we've missed this for a while. The traditional Triple H and Stephanie and William Regal giving the women flowers at this point. Yep. Sasha kind of crying, kind of breaking down. Yep. Triple H trying to help her. Yep. Stephanie there too, kind of comfort her. So Banks at this point, and so getting this one, she actually debuted. It was just it was weird. She actually made her debut before this on Raw, along with Becky and Charlotte. You had the Revolution. You had her it was actually Lynch and Charlotte allied with Paige, who was feuding with Team Bella, who was Nikki Fox, Brie, and Nikki Bella. And so then you had Banks getting with Tamina and Naomi, who later started calling themselves Team Bad, so beautiful and dangerous. So you had some brawls between all three. You got Triple H in the ring now with Bayley. Looks like her trying not to cry as well too. Because it was a big moment. Like, I know it's we say like, hey, stay in character and stuff like this, but this is a really big moment for all of them. And so it was actually her. We had the pay-per-view debut of Banks was July 19th at Battleground, and she was in a triple threat match against Charlotte and Brie Bella, which Charlotte won. So. And it was really, I say shit, it was the start of their career. It was really the start of all this stuff on NXT and everywhere. And so, yeah, really good stuff. So, okay. So PWI, Bayley was 11, 2015. Sasha was number 3. The Torch, Bayley retained 3-2. Tremendous, or 4.25 stars. Tremendous story told. Just total discipline here in the building, the emotions, and not wasting moves. The big spots they did were memorable because they didn't stack them one after another, and they let them breathe afterward. The Observer newsletter on this one, they made their entrances. Some fans chanted main event, you deserve it, all that stuff. Sasha wouldn't quit, so with about 8 seconds to go, Bayley started adding in stomps to the head, and then Sasha submitted as the final seconds ticked off the clock. So Bayley wins 3-2. They had the whole roster on stage. Triple H and Regal there. Hunter moved to the ring, present Bayley flowers. She was crying too. They had to cut back to the stage, and dude, Regal was just sobbing. Everyone cried. Everywhere in the final shot was Bayley in the ring alone with her belt and flowers, wiping away a single tear and smiling. Well, the match would have been very good pay-per-view main event if this were a pay-per-view, but it was not as good as Brooklyn, 4.25 stars. The post-match, however, easily 5 stars. It was match of the year. It was match of the year by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Got a bunch of write-ups on this one just because of what it was. Bleacher Report, the storytelling, the intensity, the high spots. This match had every element of professional wrestling a fan could ask for. It was a match every bit as good as any other of the main event roster competitors could have hoped to deliver, and a contest many of Bayley and Banks' male counterparts could only dream of producing. Falls were smartly booked, the crowd was molten hot, and the decision to have Triple H and Regal greet and congratulate them on the history really hammered home the magnitude of the talent the women had just accomplished. A brilliant conclusion to another strong presentation of NXT. So, yeah. So you got 4.25 from both. Where are you going to put this one, buddy?
I have this at an 8.5. I think it's excellent. I just love the match. Great feud. I'm just a big fan of this. What about you?
I'm at a 9. Yeah, I think that this is a can't miss type of match. It's one that we always say, like, some matches don't go back and watch. This is one I feel like should be on kind of rotation. If you have some of those matches that you go back and watch all the time, I feel like it has to be. Like, it's just that good. It's worth going back and checking out.
Okay. It was a good one, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not going to watch an all-time Matt Classic next week.
No, but we are doing something a little different, so I am excited for that. We're gonna do some TNA. However you feel about. I think part of this was I did this match when Hogan was doing the rounds on all the podcasts and stuff like that, and so I really wanted to talk about this and kind of go back and do something a little weird. So yeah.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Should be good. Yeah, short match, but good one. So, well, I say good, it's relative. But yeah, I do want to remind everybody too, of course, don't forget about our show sponsors. We're looking at manscaped.com, 20% off, free shipping. Use that code PAYOFF. And of course, Caldera and Lab, calderalab.com. Using the code PAYOFF as well, getting you 20% off there. So Manscaped, Caldera Lab, PAYOFF, the code, both sites, whatever you're looking for, you're getting 20% off. So Tom, let's send them home happy, just like this match. Good stuff.
All right. Well, as always, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next week on an all-new episode of The Path.